will preface this by saying, yes, this video is going to be about cell phones. The one that I am using to record this right now is certainly a modern cell phone. No, I don't like them one bit, which probably makes me something of a deviation to the rule, but I don't care. Until they manage to improve the way these things work, and until they manage to actually get them right in every single way, until they manage to just make them better all around, preferably by going back to the old analog ways, because digital telephones in general are just downright terrible, but I'm not going to get into that rant. My opinion will not improve. But you have to admit, these things do make a good quick camcorder if you happen to be in a pinch, as I am. The JVC is once again out of battery, and I don't feel like using the Handycam for this. I'm also going to be taking test footage from not just this phone here, but from yet another one. First of all, they're not really good, and second of all, they're not even widescreen to boot. So let's go ahead and open things up here. What you are looking at on your screen right now is not the main subject of the video, but is certainly going to hold some part of it. It's an HTC Dream. In fact, here's the box. Not too much special about this. You can see, take a look at the highlights here, though you can't read them because this particular camera, which is a piece of crap, has absolutely no concept of focus. That says one-touch access to Google search, you know, the instant access to Google this. Amazingly, it says YouTube. Actually, it says mobile internet services, Gmail, YouTube, all this stuff. I think this phone was even made back when YouTube was not associated with, no, it was. Google, Gmail, Google Talk, Google Maps, YouTube, and Android are all trademarks of Google. So this was back probably just after the acquisition of YouTube by Google, because it's certainly not a new phone. Customizable home screen, you know, all the kind of stuff that you get with a normal phone now. But check this out. Full 5-row QWERTY keyboard. You can't read that at all, but that's fine. I'm going to turn the camera's light on here. Yeah, no concept of focus. There's another feature that phones need to have, both focus and LED recording lights. Thankfully, most of them these days actually have that. Full 5-row QWERTY keyboard, which, yes, would be another feature that phones should have. I can't stand the touchscreen keyboards, and I wish they would go away, preferably yesterday. With HVGA resolution, now that's a thing of times past. Nowadays, phones are 1080p, which is ridiculous on a screen that small, but there you go. I didn't make them. It's also got a little trackball here, which amazingly isn't even worn out. It's got 192 megabytes of RAM. Mini USB, and it's actually mini USB, which would be another feature that phones should have. Notice a theme going on here. I hope I'm not covering up the microphone. Micro SD memory card. It is actually, as best as I can tell, SDHC capable. I don't know if it would, I doubt it would support SDXC. Contents. The smartphone itself, quick start guide, AC adapter, USB sync cable, wired stereo headset. Wonderful misspelling there. Unfortunately, you can't see that, such is the wonder of autofocus. Maybe I will be able to show it with something else. Carrying pouch and micro SD card, which I do still have. What is actually still in this box all these years later? Probably some criminal information or something about somebody who got convicted of some heinous crime. Let's see. Well, not much. There is what looks like a carrying pouch. Is that a SIM card? That is a SIM card. Okay, I'm just going to leave that there. And the quick start guide. So the USB cable is long since gone. Unfortunately, it's not that I really care. I've got so many mini USB cables, it's not even funny. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back where it needs to go. And there will be a demo video in just a few short moments from this, well, you'll see it in a few short moments, from this particular phone here. I'll tell you right now that the video quality is terrible. I mean, let's not kid ourselves, this is an early 2000s cell phone. The frame rate is absolutely god-awful, very garish looking. I'm not sure why, because there were a lot of phones back then that got the frame rate right. There we go, that's better. But this one doesn't. I am going to turn it on here. Hopefully it will turn on. Hopefully the battery is charged up enough that it will let me turn it on. The battery is basically toast. Sure does take its jolly old time to boot. There it is. It's starting. I sure hope that last clip didn't turn into vertical video. There you can see just how bad it actually is. And now, let's go ahead and switch over to it. Alright, there you can see full 5-row QWERTY keyboard. In fact, you can see most of his text. As you can also see, the frame rate is very dodgy, even in light like that. And it sounds terrible, but it sounds about on par with most normal cell phones. This is from the HTC Dream, in case you're wondering. I wonder if you can zoom while you're recording. Doesn't look like it. Oh well. Just quickly going to show off a couple things, just so you can get an idea, and that should pretty much do it. Don't want to overdo my time here. Now here is something you haven't seen in a long time. In fact, I think the last time this showed up on my channel was when I was, that might have been even in 2012, maybe 2013. I think I did show it in all of my camcorder videos. But as you can see, it too has got a full keyboard, which is something that phones should have if they're going to exist, and be replacements for just about everything. There's the camera with its pinhole lens. You can't see, although this thing is probably not much bigger. But check out how thick that is. They don't make them like that anymore. This is the kind of phone that you could drop on a modern-day phone and have it just absolutely crush it. You could probably do the same with the other one, too, which is sitting down there. But even still, this is what it is. It's a Corby Pro. Model number GT-B5310R. Contains a lithium-ion battery, which is still good, as far as I can tell, but more on that in a second. The power supply, stereo headset, they actually spelled it right this time, bilingual user manual, USB data cable, which, again, this one hasn't disappeared, but it's downstairs right now. 2.8-inch touchscreen, QWERTY keyboard, Wi-Fi, and full HTML browsing. I haven't been able to get the Wi-Fi to work, though. Downloadable applications, which is interesting. It's not running Android. It seems to be running some custom thing, and that's just basically the same thing in French. This was replaced by, by this, when I needed to have a much better device, because that, while decent, certainly was not cutting it, and the battery was also starting to have some problems. Now that I've let it sit for a while, it's actually working, but again, more on that in a second. This thing is probably set. I replaced it. Oh yeah, let's finish my thought here. I replaced it with this, or it was replaced with this, and then this died, and it was replaced with this. So, the thing that I'm using to record this video. So, this thing has probably sat since about 2000, and let's see, when did they get that? 2000, maybe 2011, 2012. In that box, doing nothing. I've pulled it out maybe once or twice, but it wasn't plugged in before that. I pulled the battery out of this just to check it, and it read 0 volts. I thought, why the heck not? I'll try and plug it in and see what it does. Imagine my surprise when I plug it in. I can get the cord here and let it sit for a bit. I mean, it wouldn't power on initially, so I thought this wasn't going to work. But imagine my surprise when I plug it in, like that. Eventually. This is micro SD, so it's kind of broken. Micro USB, sorry. And it starts doing that. It starts working. As you can probably tell, it is not in the best of shape. So I'm going to hold it like this, so it at least makes decent contact here. And imagine my other surprise. Now let's see, how much battery has this got now? I've had it sitting on the charger for a bit. And actually, that's pretty far. Let's try turning it on. It turns on. There's no SIM card in it, but that's not a problem, because nobody needs those. And it works. It is even exactly the way I had it all of these years later. Whoops. Well, the date and time is wrong, but that's okay. Is the date right? No, the date's wrong. So clearly it has lost all of its settings. We're going to go back here. I'm trying to switch over. It's even got that on it. Oh, that's not quite what I want. There we go. Wow, that's an old picture. As is that. I think all the contacts are still here and everything else is still here, but I don't care. I'm not going to show any of that off because it's private. Let's see, do we still have any media on this thing? Whoops, that's audio. Recorded audio? We still got audio on this, so some of those will have to get listened to. Nothing in the music folder. Pictures? Got a lot of pictures on here. Some pictures on here, not a lot. Any videos? There are videos on here. Not sure what that is. Looks like a PDF manual for something. Then we can take a look at the memory status. But there you go. The main attraction is mostly to make a video with this thing once again for the first time in several years. So I'm going to do that, and you are going to see just how crappy my videos used to be. This was, for those of you who weren't around then, which would be pretty much all of you, this was my very first camera, or the camera that I used for my very first YouTube videos. It wasn't good, let's not kid ourselves, but it certainly did well for what it was. And those, ironically, those videos are the ones that are my most viewed videos. Even though they're absolutely terrible. The ones that I make now are not much better, but at least they're better than this. So anyway, enough of my yakking. Let's get on with this and actually get this done. Actually, just before we get into that, I want to try something here. You see, I have a 2 GB micro SD card. Let's see what it does in response to this being plugged in. You can see that it actually has a much better frame rate than the other thing does. Let's test this.
Okay, this is the first time I have done this in a very long time. What's more is that I can even pause this, just like that. So that's actually pretty cool. I forgot about that feature. It's something that a lot of cameras these days don't have. My Samsung SMX-S50 up there, I believe you can zoom with this. Yes, you can, but it's not very good. It's actually slightly less than useless. And, but there you go. Here's just a quick little thing. This is the first video I've recorded on this in so long. This is such a blast from the past. Don't expect me to be using this very often. In fact, the real purpose for this, yes, gotta have the orb glowing. The only real purpose for this is to go ahead and just use it as yet another camera for recording thunderstorms. I'll be using it as an outdoor camera, probably for a while, because I don't care about this thing if it happens to die, so it doesn't matter. Let's power on a computer. That seems to be the way that I test cameras out. What better computer to demonstrate than the PowerBook G4, the computer that was featured in my very first computer video, which you can watch if you really want to watch that. I will be the first to admit that it's not a very good video. And I think for my, what would this be? I think it would be the 5th year that I've been on YouTube this year. I will probably be doing a nice little send-off to that video and going ahead and remaking it with this camera, if it decides to last until then. Let's go ahead and power this up. I doubt that this is going to really sound great, but you never know. Well, then again, I know it's not going to sound great. I used to use this all the time. You know, watching a PowerBook G4 start up is really not that special. Now there's a send-off for you. That was what I said at the very beginning of the test video for the SMX-S50. Again, if you want to watch that video, it is linked in the annotation. But once again, I will be the first to admit that it is not a very good video. My, how things have changed, but yet how little has actually changed. Okay, that made no sense. Log in here. What I meant to say is how little has changed and yet how much is actually different. Which is still pretty convoluted, but think about it carefully. And there you go. System has started. We're going to go ahead and take a look. Might as well go ahead and take a look at the About System information. There you can see it there. Wow! The focus on that is actually even pretty decent. See, modern camcorder or modern cell phones can't get that right. Anyways, that's it for this video. There's nothing else I need to talk about. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. And this is CP666 signing off. I hope to see you next time. Till then, we'll wait for it to shut down here. I can't untie you. I don't know what he's doing, but this is cool. And take a look at that. Look at it. Hopefully the frame rate is a lot better than it looks. Now that is cool. Is it dripping there too? No. Aww.